What is Ukrainian fashion? How, where, and for whom do Ukrainian designers create their masterpieces? What world podiums have been already conquered? Who among world-famous celebrities wears clothing from Ukrainian brand names? You can find out all the answers by watching today's program Gloss. Already 15 to 20 years ago, it was arrogant to think that Ukrainian fashion would be in high demand, and all the more that it would be discussed far beyond the borders of our country. Such a personality as Irina Danilevska has played an important role in the history of Ukrainian fashion. Having introduced the Ukrainian Fashion Week in 1997, she laid the foundation for establishment of the fashion industry in Ukraine. The work of the Ukrainian Fashion Week not only as a podium for seasonal fashion shows, but also as an organization, has promoted the future development for the entire fashion industry in Ukraine. These people are passionate about the things they're doing. We are very grateful to them because Ukrainian fashion exists, is rapidly developing and has become stylish and trendy thanks to them. The fashion in Ukraine 20 years ago was great and cool, but modern designers have to do much more than they are capable of. Eleonora Nechyporenko, fashion consultant, founder of a web portal about Ukrainian designers, owner of a modeling agency, organizers of events in the fashion industry. Today, the Ukrainian fashion industry is forging ahead, as if it is making up for its lost time. The number of Ukrainian designers on the world arena is increasing with every year, and foreign fashion experts recognize that Ukrainian designers are very talented. Fashion exists in Ukraine despite the fact that it is a very young industry. It has its own direction. Ukrainian fashion is brave. It is brave not only in its style, but also in terms of its perseverance. Ukrainian fashion is highly competitive and recognizable on the world fashion arena. Fashion is rather a business than beautiful clothing. Hundreds of foreign buyers come to Ukraine to attend Fashion Week shows and sign contracts with Ukrainian designers. In their turn, Ukrainian designers regularly attend foreign showrooms and exhibitions where they successfully sell their fashion collections. Around the world, Ukrainian designers are perceived as a phenomenon. The design and quality of the clothing made by Ukrainians can worthily compete with dresses produced by their foreign colleagues. Besides that, they show novelty, creativity, and their own style. Ukrainian fashion designers are entering foreign markets. They know how to do this and cooperate closely with buyers and international platforms. Nowadays, we can be proud of Ukrainian fashion. Although this industry is still young, the fact of its existence is uncontestable. There is a lot of proof of this fact. Leading fashion industry insiders, foreign and Ukrainian, choose clothing made by Ukrainian designers. You can see stylish clothing produced in Ukraine in many multi-branded boutiques in the US, Europe, and Asia. Fashion shows of Ukrainian talented designers on world platforms, from Paris to New York, are highly appreciated by editors of high-gloss magazine. For example, Anna Vintour, chief editor of Vogue, wrote about the brand style of Ukrainian designer Svetlana Bevza at the Vogue Talents project held within the framework of the Fashion Week in Milan. Organizers of Fashion Week platforms are interested in the involvement of new fashion designers. Besides, Ukrainian designers have won many prizes abroad. Moreover, chief editors of glossy magazines from Italy, the US, and other countries have given the Grand Prix and other awards to Ukrainian designers. The fashion show by Lilia Litkovska became one of the latest high-profile events, which was held within the framework of the official program of the Paris Fashion Marathon. Along with other world-known fashion houses, the designer presented her fashion collection for international buyers and the press for the first time and shocked the audience with her show in the Twin Peaks style. This brand has been nominated for the Best Fashion Award for several years running. This brand is already recognized abroad. What is the success of this brand? The success is in a concept that lives inside the designer. A designer clearly knows what dress his customer wishes to wear. A lot of new Ukrainian designers are striving to present their brands on international podiums because a new generation with thinking, or so-called globalizators, wants to reach international scales by presenting its collections abroad. They are free of prejudices and conventions. This is a key to opening up horizons in the world fashion industry. Anna Kyiv, the youngest Ukrainian designer who is known abroad. She presents her collections in Paris and Europe. She's not afraid of experiments. Her age eliminates all the borders of any fear. Anton Belinsky is a fashion insider. He's a Ukrainian designer and stylist. He's a personality who has already taken an important position on the market of the Ukrainian and foreign fashion industry as well. He creates collections. Viktor Anisimov is one of the old-school designers of the Ukrainian fashion industry, but it is worth noting that Ukrainian fashion would not have existed if not for such brave people who launched the business in 1997 without promoting it in social networks and attaining immediate success. At the present day, some of designers who stood at the origins of the industry left the fashion business, but those for whom fashion was a calling still continued working in this sphere and may still even be able to compete with younger generations. He's a designer who sticks to his concept during the whole process of his design activity. It is quite likely that his previous job had such a great impact on the style of his collection. He was a military man who studied at the Institute of Physical Education. As a result, all of his collections are created in the military style. He's a designer who opened Ukrainian Fashion Week in 1997. The brand is a pattern. And there are very few designers in Ukraine who create fashion for men. Of course, it is easier to follow a tidy path when someone leads by example. One such pioneer designer is Olena. The fashion designer appeared at Ukrainian Fashion Week in 1999, when the Ukrainian fashion industry was just conceived. Today, Olena remains a resident of Ukrainian Fashion Week. In June 2019, the Holet's fashion house made it into the top 20 of the best world brands that are developing, according to Vogue Italy. Olena is a famous Ukrainian designer who holds a firm position in the Ukrainian fashion industry. She's a designer who can learn a lot, starting from knowledge and ending simply with her collections. Olena is a portrait of a Ukrainian designer who knows how to achieve the desired results. Of course, it was a thorny path, but this is a brand that today is well known among young designers.
Который знает больше, чем многие молодые дизайнеры, так точно.
In the Ukrainian fashion industry, more and more creative individuals and young talents are appearing on the scene. This in turn creates healthy competition for the titans of the Ukrainian fashion industry.
Они отличаются природой.
They stand out in the nature of their generation, but the natural sense is different, and it gives absolutely different DNA. We don't need to compare them with anyone. We just need to watch them. The main thing is that it is impossible to understand. You can only see it. Sometimes the amalgamation of two creative units reveals something completely new to the world. The view of both designers on the same thing may differ, but is it worthwhile avoiding experiments? Designers shouldn't be afraid of melding and of competition. It is precisely tandem collaborations that are gaining momentum in today's fashion world. For example, there is a designer named Masha Reva. She worked in tandem with Anton Belinsky at one of the last shows. Masha Reva is a young, inspiring designer who works also with illustrations. Masha studied at the London School of the Instituto Marangoni. This designer works in Ukraine and abroad. Basically, these are collaborations with different brands and companies. She is working with capsule collections and with presentations that allow her to identify herself in the fashion industry as a designer, collaborator, illustrator. Ukrainian fashion became more accessible and understandable for the average Ukrainian citizen, and not just for fashionistas. Some brands are undoubtedly associated with Ukrainian fashion. This demonstrates the development of the Ukrainian fashion industry and an increase in its scale. This brand is known everywhere. It clearly identified itself since the existence of Ukrainian fashion and became top of mind. In any city of Ukraine or abroad, when it comes to Ukrainian fashion, one hears the name Anton. Ukrainian fashion, like every woman, should be grateful to this designer for the fact that he is known all over the world. This man went down a very difficult path in his work, starting from zero and attaining the highest results. The two bankruptcies didn't break him as a designer. This is the only brand in Ukraine that has mono-branded boutiques in shopping center.
Серьезные обороты. Это единственный бренд, который имеет в Украине сеть монобрендовых бутиков в торговых центрах.
The undeniable recognition of Ukrainian designers is reflected in the choices of world celebrities who prefer clothes from Ukrainian designers. Creative consultant of the Japanese Vogue edition, Dello Russo, is perfect in fashion like nobody else. In her collection, there is more than one dress from Ukrainian designer Vita Kin. Such celebrities as Sandra Bullock, Dita Von Teese, Lana Del Rey, and others choose dresses from Kin. Jessica Clarke, a British model and actress, is dressed in clothing by Olena. Lady Gaga starred for a cover of her single Dope wearing a hat of Ukrainian designer Ksenia Schneider, and the top model Bella Hadid chose another hat by master Lviv citizen Ruslan Bahinsky. One of the members of the famous Kardashian family chooses the clothing of the youth brand Anna K. One of the most unusual actresses of our time, Tilda Swinton, chose for one of her performances an outfit by Omelia. American actress Holland Rodin is a great admirer of floral prints by Olena Reva. The star of the World Street Style Chronicle Miroslava Duma also chooses the clothing of Ukrainian designers. And this list of admirers of Ukrainian talent goes on. That's why we really can be proud of Ukrainian fashion experts, and you can only imagine what will happen in 10, 20 or 40 years in the Ukrainian fashion industry. The fashion mechanism is becoming more and more complicated, but it is becoming very interesting and is taking a stable niche in fashion history.
У дизайнеров сейчас есть все
Fashion designers now have everything and more than anything in order to develop themselves. The fashion industry in Ukraine is developing. It is keeping up with the times and rapidly growing. In the next program, we will continue to introduce you to Ukrainian fashion. Even more about Ukrainian fashion, more fashionable advice, interviews with top designers of the country, behind the scenes of the Ukrainian fashion industry, and much more. See you in a week on uatv channel, the world about fashionable Ukraine in the program Gloss. Be fashionable, stay in vogue.